Even when presented with evidence to the contrary, the heart wants what the heart wants, and there's nothing you can do about it. Let's get into it. What up, y'all? I'm Christopher Markland, and welcome to my review/analysis of episode 10 of season 6 of Ready to Love. Y'all, as I always do, I don't necessarily tell you scene for scene what happened on the show, but instead I use the scenarios and the people on the show and talk about how they relate to love, relationships, dating, marriage, all of that good stuff. So if you like how I do it, but you know what, before I get into that, let me say this. Y'all see your boys wearing that pink, and that's just in support of this month being the month of October, being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Last week I had a physical, and even though the doctor didn't necessarily invade my nether regions, I still have myself checked out. So I'm saying the same thing to my female followers out there. Get yourselves checked out. I've got a few friends, one friend in particular, she is a breast cancer survivor, and I've also got a real close friend of mine and a loved one, family member that is battling breast cancer and in different stages, as it were. So now, I'm not a doctor, but I'll take a look. So if you want to send me a picture, I'm kidding. But anyway, yo, for real though, I do want to make sure everybody gets checked out. So with all that being said and done, if you like how I do my reviews, if you like how I do my thing, y'all, please make sure that you like this video. Make sure that you definitely leave me a comment on the things that you know. Let me give me that feedback, and definitely please subscribe to this channel.
You got to be present. With that being said, I'm making the final decision.
Beats of my heart.
That LJ is just not ready to love.
So both Swayze and Samson were given a reprieve as Tommy stepped in and said, nah, neither one of y'all two are going home. Instead, I'm going to send LJ home. Honestly, I can't disagree. Now, we can debate whether LJ had a valid reason for not being there or not. You know, we spoke about it in the last review. So, but at the end of the day, what Tommy said makes 100% sense. You can't be ready to love if you're not present for love. So, you know, it makes sense.
LJ made his decision. If you don't show up for love, it might not ever find you.
I like what Tommy said right there. If you don't show up for love, you might not find it. This right here resonated with me because it's not necessarily just about you showing up. It's about how you show up. That's why I'm always talking about therapy, because if you show up and you're not emotionally ready, you're kind of like a net with a hole in it, a fishing net with a hole in it. The odds are, yeah, you ain't gonna really catch anything. And if something does get caught in your net because it's got a hole in it, it's going to come right back out. So in other words, the perfect person could be right there, but because you're not emotionally ready, because you didn't emotionally show up ready, then that person is going to come and then they're going to go. You're not really going to be able to keep that person. It makes so much sense. If you don't show up for love, you might miss it, and not just showing up in person, but showing up emotionally ready, showing up mentally ready, showing up spiritually ready.
Excuse me. This elimination hit me really hard. LJ has been my strongest connection. I'm able to connect with him on a deeper level than with some of the other guys. It really, really sucks.
For the life of me, I do not understand the connection that Trinika has with LJ. It is just, I just don't see it. But obviously we're not privy to the offline conversations that they've had, and you know, the things that they've spoken about. You know, we only see what production allows us to see. So it is what it is. I've always said the heart wants what the heart wants, and obviously in this case, Trinika's heart really did want LJ.
The power to send someone home has now shifted back to the men. I'm gonna give y'all a little helping hand. Old school dating show style. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sister and Her Mister. Well, I am your host, Tommy Matchmaking Miles. We are going to see if you really know your partner.
With the fellas having control this week, that means that one of the ladies will be sent home. I actually like this game show idea that Tommy is doing. That actually is kind of cool, and it also falls in line with what I've been talking about as far as once you hit this part of the season where the couples that are established, as it were. In this case, it'll be Katie and Swayze. Neither one of them have connections with anybody else. They're really just focused on each other. And to a certain extent, Samson and Sharice, it's the same, even though Samson did come into the getaway with a connection to Brandy as well as Sharice. But obviously that Brandy connection, that's no longer there. So once you have couples that are locked in, I think they need to go, and then the remaining couples, they can do this dating game thing just to see how strong the connection is that they have with one person over the other. I like the idea. I think it'll work.
The winning couple will be going on a getaway escape, an exclusive and intimate date away from everybody else. I'm talking helicopter rides, yachts, mermaids. I mean, you ain't finna get all that, but this is
Mermaids? This ain't got nothing to do with the show, but why was there such a big deal about the damn black mermaid? I mean, I know the reason why. Of all of the different things that people can be up in arms about, with all of the BS that we have going on in this country, in this planet, hell, in this damn solar system, there's so many other things that people could actually be worried about. I mean, from twerking with a flute to a black mermaid, it amazes me. It never ceases to amaze me, the things that certain people get all in an uproar about.
We're gonna start with Kayla. Which man do you want to play for a date?
The shade. Do I have to go first?
Yeah.
Mike.
For Tommy's matchmaking game, I select Mike. Mike and I do have like really deep conversations. I think I could do pretty good, actually.
I am not surprised that Kayla chose Mike at all. I mean, she's had that connection to him damn near from, I want to say, the pool party, where, let me not say connection. She's had an attraction to him damn near from the pool party. And, it's something that she's been wanting to cultivate, whereas him not so much. There's been a little bit of distance, especially after the whole kissing thing. So again, I am not surprised at all that she chose Mike. We've already established that he might not be the best for her. I think, however, that again, the heart wants who the heart wants.
What does Swayze want more? A big family or a big bank account? Swayze, right your answer? Katie?
Big bank account.
Swayze, let me see your answer. Big family.
You do not want a big family.
Well, no, and y'all out already.
God damn, one question and they're out. Jesus. Well, maybe I might have to revisit my idea about sending home the couples that are locked in, because it looks like they definitely got some work to do too. But I will say this, that is a good question. And I thought about it. It's like, all right, would I rather have a large family or that big bank account? Personally, I'd say give me that big bank account, because kids are annoying. And it's, anyway, yeah, let me get the money. Let me get the money together. And then if a family is even in the horizon in the picture for me at this age, yeah, give me that money.
Jamala, you are out of the game.
I was disappointed when Jamala got the answer wrong. A lot of the questions that Tommy decided to ask, she's asked me before. So it was just unexpected.
I can understand Randall's disappointment. And a lot of times I think that we get caught up and think that you need these big, huge, grand gestures, the Eiffel Tower in Paris at sunset. When in reality, it's the small things. If we're having a conversation and I'm sharing with you the things that make me me, if I don't feel listened to, then yeah, I'm gonna pull back. So I definitely understand what Randall is talking about, especially if Jamala was the one that asked him the question in the first place. Then it's like, man, you asked me, and now here it is that it is time to put up or what is this old saying, put up or shut up. And it's like, it seems like you don't know me, and it seems more importantly that she wasn't listening to him. Now, as far as the question goes, would I rather be romantic or Netflix and chill? Yeah, give me that Netflix and chill, because it just seems to be a little bit easier to get along.
3 or more.
3 or more.
So these were kind of questions that you had to think about who they are as a person. I'm not surprised that I'm answering most of these questions about Randall correctly, because we have pretty good conversations.
I like that it's not that Trinika just knows the answers, but it's more that she knows him and knows how he thinks. So that comes from them having those conversations, and then her listening to what he's saying in order to get to know him, his thought processes, all of those things. Now, that's an interesting question. And the question was, how many serious girlfriends has Randall had? Is it less than two or more, or three or more? Even though two, three, anyway. So that's an interesting question. Now let me see how well y'all know me. How many serious relationships do you think I've had? Less than two or more, three or more? I want to hear what y'all think.
Let me see, Sam. Ooh, that boy got some thirsty.
We all know Samson likes to talk about himself, so I know all the answers because I'm really getting to know Samson. But when it came down to his shoe size, that was something that I missed because it would take a whole lot more dates for me to know what Samson's shoe size is, if you know what I mean.
Ladies, I want to address this myth. It is especially hurtful because there is no real correlation to the size of a man's shoe and his other body parts. This is a fallacy that needs to be nipped in the bud, because as a man who has a size 6 shoe, it's very hurtful. Body shaming is wrong, and it is just, it's wrong. It's a fallacy. It's a myth. It is not true, and it is hurtful.
Is Randall a breast or thigh man? And I'm talking about chicken.
He like these.
He like these.
He like these.
Breast. You said breast. Better than testicles.
Again, send those pictures to. Now, I will say this. I have no doubt that they have discussed it, because Trinika, even from the very beginning, has not been shy about discussing her breasticles. I am sure that as much as these two have spoken, that the conversation about her chesticles has come up, because like I said, from the very beginning, she has said, hey, they're here, they're big, they're natural. It is what it is. She hasn't been shy about it. And, you know, she's shown them. Well, she ain't shown that, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. So it makes sense to me that she would know which one Randall has a preference for, because I'm sure that they've discussed that. Anyway, gotta ask again, which one do y'all think I prefer? Do y'all think I'm a breast man, like the question says, or a leg man?
I don't like this game. Hurry up and finish.
So Randall and Trinika and Mike and Kayla had to do a face-off.
Ooh, you can see my face.
I had a face-off as well. I'm over here like, ooh, she better get something wrong.
Being attracted to someone because of how their appearance makes your tingly parts feel is easy. You can't control how you look. They can't control how they look. And if they're attractive, they're attractive. However, you can tell that Mike and Kayla, they've had several conversations, but more importantly, she listened to what Mike was saying as he was telling her things about him, and that's why she's able to answer those questions about him. It's one of those things where, you know, as a man, we like knowing that, you know what, you listen to me. That's a really cool thing, because it's a big old world out there, and knowing that, you know, someone is actually taking the time to listen to you, to listen to the things you has to say. Yo, that shit makes you feel good as a dude.
So that leaves Trinika and Randall as our last couple standing. Give them a big round of applause. Y'all deserve some time away together. You're going on Ready to Love's first getaway from the getaway. Congratulations.
Trinika answered all of the questions about Randall, and as such, they won. I'm not surprised at this, because to me, out of all of the women that were there, Trinika seemed to be the one that was most focused on the men that she was interested in building a connection with. The problem, however, was the choice of men that she made. So you look at Justice, you look at LJ, and now you look at Randall. The energy that she was giving them in order to build the connection with them didn't seem to be reciprocated from those men. I get it. She could only choose from the men that were there, that she was actually attracted to, and that were attracted to her. So her choices were essentially limited. But I don't think that those were the best choices for her in the long run.
Congratulations. No, you're not supposed to like
I don't know why that reminds me of the Pokemon meme where Pikachu had a shadow. Anyway, I'm gonna put it on my Instagram. That scene just reminds me of that. I've always liked the chemistry that both Trinika and Randall have had, because they've been able to communicate with each other just easily. Everything's been real fluid. They haven't really had to pull anything from each other, and there's just there's an ease, a sense of ease as to how they communicate with each other. I've always liked that. I've also liked the fact that Trinika is easygoing and she doesn't really seem to have any hang-ups about sex. That is, I mean, most men like that. It is what it is. But no, if you go back to like the very first episode, it's like I said, she's aware of her body, she's comfortable with her body, but she's asked some direct questions when it comes to that. Going back to when she asked LJ and LJ's ex, that kind of thing, she doesn't really have any hang-ups. She gets directly to it in order to get the answers that she's seeking. I've always liked that about her, and I definitely like those two together.
Oh my gosh, this is so my vibe. This
Wow.
is so me.
Oh my gosh, this is beautiful.
Can't believe Tommy lied to me like this. I didn't hear a helicopter. I didn't see any mermaids, and I'm still waiting on the boat.
Yeah, I'm with Randall on this one. I agree with him 100%. I personally would have wanted that helicopter ride and, you know, seen a mermaid, an adult one, mind you, 21 and up. I definitely would have wanted to see that. Now, I'm not a big fan on spas and all that, the massages, but I have done them. They are pretty cool. They are relaxing. And I especially like how that one is set up right there. And it's just for them. That, I'm sure, even if that's not your thing, that's still a cool experience, and especially one for them to share together.
Yeah, why not?
I guess it's because you don't usually express how you feel towards me.
Huh.
And I like to feel wanted and desired.
Yeah.
You know, I am a woman. Give me your hand.
We all want to be wanted. We all want to be desired. We all want to be sought after. And there aren't many feelings worse than when you're not. I feel Trinika's pain on this one because even as a confident man, and I can pick up on certain cues that, you know, her body language may be giving me, things like that. There's nothing like hearing the words of like, hey, you kind of cute. You a little bit, you know, and I want you. I'm interested in being with you, that kind of thing. It as a man, I know how that makes me feel. So I can only imagine knowing that Trinika needs that reassurance that, hey, I know you're interested in these other people, but I need to hear it from you that you're at least interested in me and really truly want to see where what we have goes.
I like looking into Randall's eyes, so it was easy for me. But with him, I could feel like his energy. There were times when he was a little distracted. I could feel and sense all of that. But then I gave him a little massage on his feet and everything was good.
I like how Trinika is always able to connect with Randall and to pick up on his energy whenever they have those moments, those times together. She's always just seems to be able to feel where he's coming from. Me personally, I just don't think I could do that exercise because my mind would be wandering all over the place. So that seems to be the same thing that was happening with Randall. However, with Trinika, she was able to pick up on that, rub his leg, his foot or whatever in order to kind of calm him down and keep him focused. Again, I just couldn't do it. I just got to think about people rubbing on my foots anyway. But I like how these two connect. I like how these two move together. And I like how Trinika is able to pick up on Randall and his energy.
Mike and Randall, I feel like they've both consciously chosen to not see how I'm doing. Super hypocritical. I think they both visibly can see how it's affecting me and how I'm not happy, not giving a about how I felt, or even to just say goodnight and see what's going on with me.
It's not like Kayla doesn't see exactly where she stands with both Mike and Randall. Think about it. When she came in there, when she walked in there, both Randall was preoccupied with Trinika and Mike was occupied with Brandy. So for her to walk in there and expect both of those men to drop what they're doing with their connections and paying attention to them and come running over there to check on her is a bit unrealistic. In fact, if you remember back at the last episode, how she was laughing at Jamala because when Jamala walked up, Kayla was occupied with Randall, and you know that was a big joke to her. She understood what happened. So now that it's happening to her, you would think she'd know exactly what's going on. If you know that the men that you're connected with aren't giving you the energy that you want, then there comes a point where you have to realize, you know what, and then gracefully bow out.
I think I know how I got here.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes, patience makes someone that's interested in you think that you're not interested in them.
I can tell when a person is into me, and I'm not sure if he's just going through the motions or if he's really into me. So I feel like Samson and I still have a lot of work to do.
Every season towards the end, there's always this one couple that they just seem to be together just because they have to be, not because they actually want to be together. I feel the same way about Charisse and Samson as I did about Carmen and Donovan from, was it last season before? I don't even remember. But anyway, they're like the exact same. And what Charisse is saying right there goes back to what I was saying earlier about being desired. There's something about being with someone that actually desires you, meaning they want to be with you, as opposed to they're just with you because you're there.
When you say you're here, like, clarify who you're here for.
I'm here for you.
I feel like you need to say that at
Who
this
else
point.
was out here?
I don't know. 'Cause you got 3 strong connections. Do Ned know that?
Do they know what?
Who you're here for?
I don't think it matters.
No, it does matter. Absolutely. What are you saying?
Randall is flirting real close to stepping over the line into fuckboy land. Now, I get what he's saying. I hear what he's saying. But if he's not being clear as far as what it is he's doing regarding the process with the other 2 ladies, it sounds like he's telling Jamala one thing, meaning, yeah, it's just me and you. I'm pursuing you. But then he's still moving with the other 2 ladies. So again, if he's being clear with her and saying, hey, I know that there's an attraction with you, but I am still seeing these other 2, that's one thing. But if he's saying to her like, yo, I'm here for you, that can be interpreted as I'm here for you, not for those other 2 ladies that I also have a connection with.
It has to be a direct action, a direct statement from you. I'm not going to do it.
Someone's feelings have to be hurt. If our connection isn't what it is and you want to be somewhere else, I can always remove myself to make that choice easier for you.
Jamala's 100% correct in that Randall has got to be clear with the other 2 women if he is going to be there for Jamala. If that's the case, then he needs to let those other women know that, hey, this is the direction I'm going to be going in. One thing I will say, though, I really and truly believe that Randall is not necessarily going to make a decision and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Instead, it's going to be more like he's just going to let those women eliminate themselves because of time. And then he ends up where he ends up, as opposed to him actively saying, hey, Trinika, I'm going to pursue Jamala. Hey, Kayla, I'm going to pursue Jamala. I think he's going to just let things just work themselves out, and then he'll just have what he wants in the end.
Mike pulled me to the side and just out and came with it. Like, I know how you feel. Like, I am so sorry. I apologize. I don't want to lose you. I want to still work on our connection. And he was like, we're going to spend time. We're going to figure this out. It's just unfortunate that he had to wait for the other girl to leave to do that. Like, oop, the coast is clear. Like, it's so weak.
So we've come to that part of the season where things pretty much have worked themselves out to what they are, and you kind of have an idea as to what they're going to be. Now, if Kayla knows that Mike isn't pursuing her in the way that she wants to be pursued, and then on top of that, the way that the only time he seems to be giving her any type of attention is in private, which is, obviously not something that she wants, then again, it may be time for her to bow out. It's like, if you stay in the process knowing that the one that you're interested in isn't giving you the attention that you want, you're setting yourself up to be hurt, or at worst, you're setting yourself up to be a side chick.
I haven't cried in so long. Maybe I'm due.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't cry?
Very rare.
You're not emotional?
Not really. The last time I really shed tears was when my dog died in 2011. So over a decade ago.
With Samson, it seems like everything that he says is like he is delivering a line that is designed to elicit a certain response. It's one thing, I don't know if I can pinpoint the exact time I cried and why, especially something 10 years ago, but anyway, again, I don't know this dude, and all I can do is just go off of what we see on, that is presented to us on the screen. And I know that, there is a whole lot of reality show editing. So what they see is what they want us to see. I get it. The one thing is they can't edit the words that you don't say. So everything that we're watching, he has said it. And again, just the way that the things that he says it and the situations that he says it in, they just don't come across as genuine to me.
I need to know more.
You still have some reservations, huh?
I don't have reservations. I want you to open up to me more.
You're still questioning that after all of my actions and words.
I'm not questioning anything. We're having a conversation about this process, which is healthy.
Yeah.
Everything is not all smiles and
she is clearly articulating to him exactly what it is that she needs. But for whatever reason, he is just pushing back. She's been saying the same thing, I want to say, for like 3 episodes now, which is for him to open up. We've spoken about this in other reviews where all of the women that have been interested in him and including his ex, none of these women know each other outside of the show, but they're all asking for the same thing that Charisse is once again asking for, which is for him to open up so that she can really get to know him. When you reach a certain age, you need to know that the person that you're with is going to be there for you, but you also need to know what it is that they're made of, what it is that makes them tick, what is it that they like, what is it that they don't. And the only way you can do that is for that person to open up and be real with you so you can know what it is that you're getting yourself into.
There's some serious things that could be talked about. I'm just trying to figure out, why is he always trying to keep it so surface? You can't get anywhere with anybody by not getting a little bit serious and talking about the more intimate things that will bring you closer to a person.
I just recently had a conversation with a friend of mine, and what she said was, you don't really know a person until y'all have had your first fight within the context of a relationship. And the reason why she said that is not everybody fights fair. Some people fight dirty. They'll say some stuff. They'll bring up your past, all kinds of negativity. That's what Charisse is essentially saying right here. Not every day is going to be happy, happy, joy, joy, the butterfly tinglies, and we're just all happy. No, there are going to be some days where stuff happens, and then that's when you really get to see that person's dark side. If the person that you're interested in this case, Charisse is trying to get to know Samson. If that person is not able to open up to you so you can really know them, but instead they want to keep everything light and easy and we're just all happy and smiling, that's a problem. That's a red flag. That's something you definitely need to address.
So, what do you got planned for the rest of the day? Serious. I'm serious.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. We got.
I want to talk about you. I want to talk about you.
Got to be a balance.
I'm present in this moment.
I'm present too. Compromising. You sacrificing.
Getting to know someone beyond just the surface level stuff is difficult because it makes you uncomfortable. Once you allow someone in, you have to be vulnerable, because now what you've literally done is you've opened up the doors to your heart and giving them the ammunition to hurt you. Now, that's why I've said that from jump with Samson, it's all surface level. Now, I don't know why. I'm not sure if he's just trying to protect himself, or it could just be a case of this isn't the Ready to Love format is an abbreviated dating format. So they've only had a few weeks to make connections and to start building things. And if he doesn't trust that person, if he doesn't trust Charisse, to be actually genuine for what he needs, and also if he hasn't done the work in order to heal himself of whatever baggage he may be bringing to the process now, then he won't be able to go beyond the surface, because he won't trust her enough to be vulnerable in order to open himself up to let her in order to get to know who he really is.
So when any man or woman goes to a salon, it's to relax. But once again, Hurricane Charisse comes in, starts asking questions that I've already given answers to. I wasn't comfortable anymore. This process has only been a couple of weeks.
When they sat down and started drinking the champagne, Charisse told him that, hey, I really want to get to know more about you, because even though we had this 2-day getaway, I came back from the getaway not knowing anything more or anything deeper about you. So with him using this BS excuse about, oh, he's just trying to relax, if that's the case, he could have said that when they first sat down and said, hey, you know what, I'd love to have that deep conversation, but I'm just really enjoying this, and we can have that conversation maybe later on, but right now I'm in a mellow state. Whatever, he could have said something, but instead he didn't say exactly what it was, and instead is coming up with just BS instead of addressing what Charisse is saying. And she's also been saying the same thing, which is, hey man, I really need for you to open up, because this process requires you to do so that way we can really get to know each other. I can get to know you, and then you can also in turn get to know me.
I don't need the process in this recent couple of week-long journey to learn what I've already know.
Okay.
Yeah. Good stuff.
That doesn't even make any sense. It's not about him knowing who he is at this point in the process. It's about him opening himself up so that she can get to know who he is. It seems instead that he'd much rather just, again, keep it on this surface level where everything's all happy and the fake smiles and all of that. And there's no way you can build a solid, healthy, happy relationship if you just want to keep it surface and fake. You can't be real operating on a fake foundation.
Glad we had this conversation.
Yeah. You're the man. Sam the man.
You're the woman. Sharice the woman.
Samson's walls are still up. It shouldn't take this much effort to get a person to open up to you. At this point, I'm like, maybe we won't work for each other.
I couldn't put my finger on it when I first saw Samson, but I just knew that there was something off. It's just too perfect. But anyway, now it could be a case where he's just honestly not connected to Sharice and he's just going through the motions, or it could just be he's just putting on a front for the camera. Whatever the case may be, it's something about when a person shows you who they are. Once that representative falls back and you get a glimpse as to who that person really is, if they show you who they are, you believe them, especially if the real them is something that you just know is not good for you.
Leaving this situation, I think the connection with Randall is even weaker. I think he has good intentions, but he doesn't know how to execute. I still really like him, and I think he's a good person, and he's fun, and we had good times. So I don't know what to do at this point.
At the beginning of a relationship, you know fairly quickly if that person that you're talking to is the one, or at least the right one. And you also know fairly quickly if that person is wasting your time or if you're wasting your time with them. The problem is that it is very difficult to walk away from a relationship, to walk away from the potential, to walk away from the promise. And as such, what happens is we sometimes tend to stay in a relationship, in a situation, a hell of a lot longer than we should because we're just not able to walk away from it. That's what Kayla is doing right here. We've all, at least I have, a couple that's just been together for 20 plus years, and you know that they both realize that, you know what, we probably should have ended this thing about 15 years ago, but instead they just stayed together because neither one of them wanted to walk away for whatever reason.
Look who it is.
Who that? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I have a date with Randall, and I have a very, very bad feeling. Hello. You look handsome.
So the men got together in Tommy's lounge, and was it the men's lounge? Whatever the hell it is. Anyway, after their deliberation, they now have both Trinika and Kayla up for elimination. Not really surprised at this one because this isn't a case where neither one of the ladies are ready to love, but instead the men that both of those women had connections with had multiple connections. Again, you had Mike that had a connection with both Brandy and Kayla, and then you had Randall that had a connection with Trinika and Trinika, Kayla, and Jamala. So it just makes sense that the connections that both of those men had with other women were stronger than the connections that they had with those two.
To the date, I'm like, all right, well, let's have fun with this. It's me, it's you. We have a great connection. Our bond is going stronger. So we're just going to go through this together and make the most out of it and have fun with each other.
Fun? There's nothing fun about being rejected. There's nothing fun about being dumped. There's nothing fun about having your heart broken. Nothing fun at all about any of that. Empathy goes a long way, and if Randall knows that she cares about him and she wants to pursue something with him, if he knows that he's going to be giving her the bad news and sending her home, then it's not a fun process and there is no fun in it.
You felt like you got closer with anybody at the house?
Mike, you know you're my strongest connection.
I wasn't aware of that.
I chose you to do the game. Why do you think I chose you?
You know my honest answer?
What?
Randall has 3 connections, and you probably ain't want to sit there and actually try to go against 2 other women.
At first, I thought Mike was full of it when he said that he didn't know that he was Kayla's strongest connection. But then I sat and I thought about it. going all the way back to when Mike and Randall all met with Kayla and Kayla's friend back at the restaurant, Mike was actually giving Randall praise as far as saying that he was the one, especially that was after the whole kiss thing. So I guess it would make sense that Mike would think that Kayla was more interested in pursuing something with Randall than she was in pursuing something with him. Still doesn't kind of make 100% sense, but what he said, he made a valid point in that, okay, the only reason you did that was to make Randall jealous. I can see that, kinda.
If you honestly went the whole trip and didn't feel like I felt some type of way, like you didn't even notice, nothing.
I think I probably dropped the ball on that.
Check on me, see if I'm okay, what's going on with me, good night, not.
I often ask myself if I would be able to go on this show and go through the process, and the answer is no. The reason is because I like to talk, and if there's an issue, a miscommunication, or a problem, we're gonna talk about it. The person I connect with, we're gonna be talking via, phone calls, texting, FaceTime, whatever. So I don't think I'd be able to deal with the fact that it seems that production limits the time that they can communicate with each other outside of when scenes are being filmed, because that's the only explanation that I can give as to why Mike and Kayla haven't been able to communicate to the point that Mike doesn't know that he's Kayla's strongest connection, or when they had the whole kiss situation, why that lingered on as long as it did, because if they were talking to each other, if they were communicating, they would have been worked that out. But it seems like the only time they actually talk about certain things is when the camera's on. That just wouldn't necessarily work for me.
No one had anything bad to say about it.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we're not doing that. I don't want to hear that.
she was so upset. She didn't even want me to touch her. I didn't tell her anything yet. She just got really quiet. She didn't want to talk no more, and it was really hurtful to see.
He's the one that's hurt. Let me get this straight. Shanika's the one that's being dumped. She's the one that's being eliminated. She's the one that's being told she's not ready to love. She's the one that's being told that her journey is over. And he's the one that's hurt because she had the audacity to be upset with how the process basically just turned out for her. Bruh, come on, man. That is so tone deaf of him right there. And it's just like, come on, man. Come on.
Fellas, we got together, and for the process, this is where it stops.
I have no words.
Shanika's journey has come to an end, and also with LJ being eliminated as well, that brings us down to 5 women and 4 men as we go into next week's episode, which is the Meet the Parents episode. Not too crazy about those, but hey, that means that we're coming to the end of the season. Speaking of next episodes, on the next episode of the CM show, we are going to be talking about Unequally Yoked. That's right, the conversation will be unequally yoked. Now, we're not going to be talking about it just from the biblical aspect of 2 people being unequally yoked, but we're going to be speaking about being financially unequal, be it emotionally unequal, being sexually unequal, just 2 people who are not necessarily on the same page and the issues that come along with that. So join me tomorrow. We're going to have the conversation. It's going to be both here on YouTube and also on Facebook Live as well. And for the record, I am a thighs man because I am not a big fan of breasts because they can be too dry. So yeah, when you get that 2-piece, you get 2 thighs, and then anyway, that's what I prefer. Now, I didn't get a chance to do it this past week, but follow me on my social media. On Instagram, it's at author_Chris M. I do live tweet throughout the shows when I do get a chance to watch them live. I do my commercial break recaps as well as, just I love watching what other people have to say as well. You can also follow me on Facebook at author Christopher Markland, and then you can follow me on Instagram at Christopher_Markland. So I want to know what you guys think about this particular episode. Do you agree with Shanika's elimination? How do you feel about how Randall is handling his process? What about Kayla? How do you think she's handling things as well? I definitely want to hear from y'all. Make sure you drop your responses in the comment section. I do read them and I do respond. So y'all, I appreciate y'all watching, and as always, y'all, thank you and stay determined.